by a range of interconnected challenges, and of course that have hindered its ability to provide reliable and affordable power to the populace. Ranking high among these challenges are inadequate power generation, capacity transmission and distribution bottlenecks, suboptimal pricing, and subsidies, operational inefficiency of the distribution companies, as well as regulatory uncertainty and policy inconsistencies. These are some of the challenges bedeviling the power sectors in Nigeria. Let's put some perspectives into this. I'm being joined now in the studio by Dr. Atiku Tambuwal, is the former acting MD of TCN. TCN is Transmission Company of Nigeria, and of course the board member of Abuja Electricity Distribution Company, AEDC. Good morning, Doctor.
Good morning, viewers.
Yeah, glad to have you on Business Daily today.
Thank you.
Let me start this way. Why is the focus on tariff hike instead of, achieving or investing in achieving constant power supply?
Thank you very much. I think I will start by saying that tariff is a very, very critical component of the power sector, because that is what determines the liquidity of the sector. And in essence, that is what will drive the power sector in terms of performance. So it is something which has to be critically addressed and also given its due place in the whole perspective.
Now, my concern is that the power sector is now in the hand of private sector. Aren't they supposed to invest so much in making the power available before talking about tariff? Because there seems to be more focus about let's increase tariff at almost every year. There is conversation about tariff increase, not about making the power available.
Well, I will say that they must go hand in hand. It's just like the issue of chicken and egg when you consider the investment versus tariff. So in as much as investors will be willing to put in more money, they will also want to recover their cost. And the only way to recover the cost is if they have the cost-reflective tariff. So I think they has to be addressed and together, and each has to come in at the same time, not waiting for the other. So they have to go hand in hand. Tariff review is a constant thing which has to be done. And also investment is something which the investors must do in order to perform and deliver the services.
Indeed, I agree with you that tariff is very key. Of course, they need liquidity, they need fund money to be able to address some of these challenges that we did highlighted. But my concern is that at the sometime last year, a category were created, talking about the band A, band B, band C, band D, even up to band E, were also created in that regard. Do you think this segregation in any way will help us having a steady power supply? When you say a certain band will get 20-hour power supply, the next one cannot get, why not we have a holistic approach about making the power available for everyone in the country, making the metering, as a very big priority? That's the area I'm focusing on, Doc.
Yeah, I think I will strongly agree with you that we need to have a holistic approach to this tariff and this band of a thing. As we all know, the band A, like the cash cow for the industry now.
Absolutely.
And incidentally, it's only 15% of our customers that are into this category. So you can see about 85% are receiving subsidies. So that will not make any significant achievement in terms of the liquidity, as far as I'm concerned. The only way to do it is possibly, according to my own understanding, is to look at it so that the tariff can be harmonized such that we get close to the what you call the economic value for the tariff, so that each and every customer should be able to bear that cost, and then the whole power sector will see in, will have the impact of the tariff. We can still maintain the less privileged and maintain some kind of subsidy, like the line customers. We can still give them subsidy, but to me, it's better to have a common pricing so that each customer will be able to get maybe 90% of customers paying such cost-reflective tariff, and it will be better.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think that would be better. I'm sure you take that to your board members at AEDC. It's very, very key for us to have that holistic review. Let's look at the Electricity Act now. Power is off exclusive list now. Yeah. Now the state now has a power now to make their laws, generate their electricity, and of course distribute to their people. But at the state level, we seem to be having a lot of problem. I've spoken to a lot of people from about 10-15 states, and it's still the same issues that we have had before, despite the fact that there is more like a devolution of electricity power now to the states. Is it a question of capacity by some states?
I think so. I think it's the capacity, ability to drive that regulatory regime in the states. As you have seen, the National Electricity Regulatory Commission at the national level has been trying, but we still see some lapses in the regulatory framework. Then now you are bringing in states who are amateurs as far as I'm concerned. So this kind of transition is, I think, what needs to be properly strengthened in terms of capacity. The experts, those who are capable of doing the regulation, should be well sought and to ensure that the bodies that are set by the state are capable and be able to deliver. And also learn from the mistakes that we have seen at the national level. So it's a learning process, but we need people with capacity who are capable of driving this process in the states.
Indeed, which is very, very important. Although we have some few states like Lagos, Kaduna, and I think Rivers State and a few others who are coming on board with this, to begin to implement the new Electricity Act there. What do you think other states should actually learn from these states who are taking the bull by the horn?
Well, the states really should emulate those that have started and are making substantial progress. There should be interactions. There should be kind of a national fora where this personnel can interact, learn from each other, and also come up with, because there is no need reinventing the wheel. If there's an established procedure in a state and it seems to be working, you don't need to start, look at what they have done, modify it, and improve on it. So I think that kind of interaction and it's very important to really put heads together in terms of seminars, forums,
like knowledge sharing,
thank you,
and things like that. But each state, in most states you have commissioner for power, or as the case may be. I think that should be a key responsibility for them to handle. Let's still talk about this cost reflecting tariff. Government said it's committed to implementing that in the sector as a key step toward, resolving the liquidity crisis in this sector. We've had changes from NEPA to PACN now to where we are right now, but the same issue of this cost reflective tariff is still there. The issue about estimated billing has not gone away as well. And now it's even so much now that some households are paying so much as 20,000 naira per house, a flat per month. So this is still very huge. Now, what do you think can be done? Is it a question of not having the right leadership in the power sector? Is it a question of not having the right, a square hole, or a square? Is it a square peg now in a square hole? Is that how do we address this? It's contradicting, actually.
Yeah, I think the state apparatus, all those regulatory bodies and the state governments that establish this institution should be able to ensure that they provide the right atmosphere for them to deliver. Regulatory is very important in terms of making sure that customers are not cheated, and at the same time, the investors will not lose their investment. So I think there is a lot that has to be done, particularly on the part of the operators. They also have to live up to expectation. Investment, as you said, is what we need, both in terms of the transformers, the lines, and the metering. Metering is very critical if you want to really ensure that customers pay for what they consume instead of crazy billing. So you have to provide that metering. Absolutely. And that's a huge metering gap, as we know. And the only way is to really pump in a lot of resources to be able to provide the meters. Customers are not supposed to provide to buy these meters. So whoever, either the operators or on the part of the government, now that everything is in the state government, they should also make some provision for metering so that it can be installed at any customer premises.
Indeed, talking about customers are not supposed to provide some of this infrastructure. Talking about the meter, there is a transformer as well. The Senate did said yesterday to the federal government that they should stop using public funds for discourse assets. I understand, according to what the Senate was actually talking about, they said a situation where the current model is that when the government funded equipment such as transformer are handed over to communities only for discos to assume ownership and impose charges for installation and services. For example, you live in a community, your transformer has a problem, the company will come to you and say exactly that the only way you can actually get it, if you said you want to wait for them, you wait forever. The only way is for you community to come together, contribute, and of course buy transformer. But the moment you buy it, become the asset of the power company. How is that supposed to be so?
Yeah, I think what the Senate is trying to do is a good thing, and that aspect of the power of the Electricity Act has to be properly addressed, such that if there's any investment by individuals, that investment should be compensated in a way through energy sales, through giving that customer free energy equal to what that customer has invested. So to me, I think that aspect should be critically looked into the new act that they want to develop, so that the distribution companies should be able to live up to expectation, where they cannot immediately expand to repair or to provide this infrastructure. There should be a formal way of doing it with the interested or the beneficiaries, and that should be properly done so that there is adequate compensation. Quite okay, you cannot say power equipment belongs to individuals. That, I think I will not agree with that. It should still be the property of the distribution company or utility.
Then the distribution company should be able to provide those equipment.
Exactly. If
not that I'll use my hard-earned money to buy an equipment. For example, the meter in my house, I bought it myself and I have not been compensated.
You are supposed to be compensated, but that has been established. But we're not talking about the issue of transformer lines and repairs and all those things. So those should also be properly done, such that the customer will have way of being compensated, so that he now give away the asset to the distribution company in return for free energy equal to what he has expended.
Expended, but we know in most cases we don't get that compensation. Let's talk about the issue of metering gap now, that you have pointed out, which is also key. As of today, we have 7.18 million meters there out of 13.34 million registered electricity users. About 7.18 million remain unmetered. It's still, we're still talking about inadequacy. We've been saying this since 2023. The number appears to remain the same.
Yeah, it will still remain the same, provided there is no deliberate attempt to provide the funding. It's the funding that really matters, the capital needed to procure these meters. There could be a lot of ways, in the past and up to now, they are still doing meter asset providers, whereby individuals will now come meter and then get paid through either the customer pay him or the distribution company, like vendor financing. So these are one of the ways. But the whole thing lies squarely on the neck of the distribution company. They are supposed to provide the meters, no matter what. So it's left for them to source for the capital to meter their customers. So I think that has to be emphasized in the new act amended, so that the distribution companies will be made to bear the full responsibility. That is an element of the tariff which has to do with metering. So that amount, that money is being accumulated and being warehoused by NEC, the regulator. And up to now, there is no deliberate attempt to give out these monies to the distribution companies. I don't know why it is being held, but if that amount of money is being properly passed to the distribution companies, I think we'll be able to somehow close the gap of the metering.
Indeed, how can that be possible where the distribution companies are indebted to the tune of about 4 trillion naira? I mean, that they are owing to power generation company, talking about the federal government now is owing them this money. When we're having this kind of debt, how can they be able to provide all of these things? This is coming from the Minister for Power himself, Mr. Adelabu.
Yeah, I think going back to the same issue, what is the main reason why you have this accumulation of this 4 trillion? It is because some major customers are not paying properly.
Most of them government,
MDS.
Exactly.
When you look at the barracks, when you look at police barracks, military barracks.
Even the villa.
Yeah, the villa, they're being owed. So there has to be a deliberate attempt to recover this money and to stop accumulation of debt. Once that is done, I think substantial part of this debt will not be there again.
Well, once that is done, the debt will not be there. But the minister also said that the debt accumulated to the government continued due to inability of the companies to provide electricity subsidy.
I don't understand that particular aspect.
The funding is making it difficult for them to provide subsidy.
For the government to provide subsidy?
Absolutely.
Well, yeah, that is.
So how can this be addressed? Do we continue to go back and forth on all of this, despite all experiences from privatization,
like
from
I said,
NEPA to PACN, like I did mention earlier?
Like I said earlier, the only way is to come to terms with the cost reflective tariff, whereby 80% or 90% of customers should be able to pay this tariff to recover the cost for generation and all power sector players. So once we have hit that tariff structure and everybody pays, that element of subsidy will definitely go. Government will only be paying for the low-income earners in the rural areas, and that's where we can maintain the subsidy. But subsidy, in a way, must go in order for the power sector to be liquid enough to deliver.
Subsidy must go. Subsidy has gone in almost all sectors of the economy. It's gone in fuels, it's gone in FX, and now we're also saying subsidy in power must also go. We hope that will not end up suffocating Nigerians, Doc. But let's also look at how do we improve our power generation through recovery of idle capacities, which is also very key. We have a lot of idle capacities there that are not useful to the national grid.
Well, and you say idle capacities, you mean referring to the generation?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I think what needs to be done is to see to the possibility of making them work. Can it be repaired, retrofitted? Can it be put back to use? Why is it idle? Is it technical or is it gas constrained? All these things has to be looked into to know why are we having idle or redundant power plants. Once we were able to restore them and get them back to power our networks, I think we should be able to have improved power supply.
So how do we expand energy mix, which is also very, very critical area as well to ensure we have energy security?
Yeah, the only way is to go with the Act, the Electricity Act, which has really encouraged the use of renewables, mini grids, and substantially, we have a lot of solar resources. Like even in AEDC now, we are able to have almost 2,000 megawatts of renewable energy, solar energy, as an energy mix into our network. In addition to what we get from the national grid, we also have arrangements. 1 megawatt in Wuse Market is now operational. So we're also having arrangement in Niger State and Nasarawa to provide the remaining about 1.3 megawatts. So all in all, we have 2.3 megawatts coming in as alternative source in addition to what we get from the national grid. So it is very important to have this kind of thing, not only by the state government, even the distribution companies are being mandated by NEC to also source for this kind of alternative energy to support what they get from the national grid.
There's another part of the power infrastructure that we are not harnessing, the wind. If you go down to this northwest, you have a lot of wind there that will be wasted.
Absolutely.
We're not harnessing that resource. There seems to be so much focus
on solar
and a few other areas.
Yeah, I think we are yet to have a breakthrough there, even though we know there's this pilot project in Katsina. I'm happy to hear that now federal government and Katsina state government are now working closely to get it restarted or commissioned. So very soon that will be done. About 10 megawatts will be made available. And like you said, it's not only in the north, even in the coastal areas, there's a lot of wind potential. So it is also very imperative for us to start harnessing that energy. When you look at the developed world in the Europe, most of their renewables energy is from wind.
Wind, absolutely.
So we also have to harness it to make it also something that Nigeria can benefit from.
What kind of partnership do you think distribution companies should have with the likes of agencies like REA, Rural Electrification Agency, which is actually mandated to take care of the rural electricity, mostly dealing with mini-grid?
Yeah, there has to be proper synergy. And as you know, the mandate of the REA, as you said, is to provide this and possibly maintain them as a mini-grid. So where distribution companies have to come in to take over, I think that's how they can now synergize to be able to provide electricity to the rural areas where there's already existing distribution network in the community, and REA now installed solar. So I think that arrangement has to be there with the distribution companies to see how they can now properly meter the customers, and possibly if there is going to be any compensation on the part of the investor, who's Rural Electrification Agency, that has to be worked out. It's just like what we are having before, when Niger Delta Holding Companies is developing projects, particularly for transmission, and handing over to transmission. Transmission becomes the owners, but at the same time, those Niger Delta Holding Company, as you know, belong to the 3 tiers of government. So there has to be an arrangement of recovering that investment.
Investment, indeed.
Yeah.
Which is indeed very, very key. There's also issues around expanding transmission infrastructure for us to be able to deliver more power, ensuring stability of the national grid. Which area of infrastructure do you think we should address for us to have this, steady power supply that we'll be clamoring for a very long time?
Yeah, I think one of the issues that is not being given due priority in transmission is the issue of lines. In recent times, particularly with what is coming up with with NIPP, of course, I mentioned, and this Siemens project, we are having a lot of capacities in terms of transformer coming in and being installed. But some of them are just lying idle because there is no line to transfer this power to them from the generation companies. Most of them are weak, and they are not looped or ringed. They are radial. Take, for example, from Shiroro to Kaduna and to Kano. We are having single lines, and they are not capable. We have capacity there, even with coming of Zingeru. But you cannot wield that power properly in total to Kano, where it is needed, because the lines are weak. Not apart from being weak, they are also not capable, not enough. So we need to build more lines, 330 kV lines or 132. And in the near future, we should start thinking of super grid.
What is delaying us in having that done? You are an insider. You were at TCN. You are also in AEDC. What is the problem? Why are we finding it difficult to address power infrastructure? You're talking about now having just one line to the northwest, if I'm to get what you're saying. Yeah. That if you look at the population in the northwest, it's massive.
Exactly. So I think it's really planning and doing the right thing. That is what is really the problem. And additionally, the finances to undertake such projects. Apart from the fact that in some cases we have wheelie problems, because to run these lines, particularly when it comes to cities and traverse through towns, you have to do a lot of compensations. So it's really costing a lot. In this respect too, state governments are very critical. They are needed in terms of that, and some of them are not willing to cooperate. Because if you just leave it to TC and federal government, they cannot do all in all to compensate. So some aspect of this must be shouldered by the state government, because they are the beneficiaries. It's the people of the state that will benefit from this project. So that synergy has to be there, that cooperation, so that everybody plays its own role to offset these expenses. Lines, like I said, just like generating station and transformers, they are also very costly and they are critical. So we need to emphasize on it and make sure that we provide a loop system, ring system, that when you have break in supply from one end of the generation, that supply will automatically move from the other side, and bulk areas will not suffer from outage.
Indeed. Just as we wrap up now the conversation now, what sort of engagement do you think we should have with the state government, if you can do that in 30 seconds?
Well, I think there is this National Council on Power, which just had started sitting in Maiduguri, Borno State, about a month ago. That kind of forum is very important, because all state government commissioners and everybody to deal with power, Ministry of Power, all stakeholders are participants. So I think this is a forum whereby we should dialogue and come up with strategies whereby we come up with modalities of improving power supply to the nation.
All right. Dr. Atiku Tambuwal, former acting MD, Transmission Company of Nigeria, and board member of AEDC, thank you for your time on Business Daily. We appreciate your contributions. With that is a wrap on the show today. We'll be back again on Monday. I am Yusuf Akogu.